Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Madam Yusnaliza. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. If you are returning, I thank you and welcome back. In this session, we are going to learn on how to do a question on Mfrs 141 agriculture, which is equivalent to IAS 41. And this time we are going to take a question from Common Test May 2021. And that will be this question. We have question 2, and this is about a company which engage in the business of deer farming. And on 1st of January 2020, the company owned 200, meaning that was in the balance of the company, 201-year-old deer. At the same date, on the same date, there were 4 newborn deer, that is the fawn. So this is the newborn. So take note on that. That was on 1st of January 2020. And on 1st of July 2020, there was a purchase. This is a purchase. You acquire 10 one-year-old deer at a cost of 23,500. So this is the cost of acquiring the deer. So it will be increase in biological asset and decrease in cash or payables. At the same time, 6 fawn were born. So we have another newborn on different date, 1st of July 2020. This is another newborn, but 6 of them. There is this information regarding the livestock prices for the year ended 31st of December. You have 3 different dates there, and you have all the physical characteristic, which is in terms of the age of the deer, starting from newborn up until the 3 years old deer. So if you see, the deer will be raised, so the raising of the deer would be up until 3 years old, and that maybe is what to be the so-called agricultural produce, since it is going to be disposed or maybe will be slaughtered, whatever the goal of the company. So it is not disposed at the moment during the period. So let's look at the first question. The first question was just a general question. They asked you to state the 4 agricultural activities that are applicable to Mfrs 141. So agricultural activities should be the one that is under the management, is a managed activities of the reporting entity. This includes the forestry, it can be plantation, livestock rearing, orchard cultivation, aquaculture, and many more. So you can also have other answers which are acceptable. Any 4 of them that may include other answers which are also relevant and acceptable. Next one, we go to the second part. The second part of the question is asking you to calculate the increase in fair value due to physical changes and also the increase in fair value due to price changes. So physical changes and price changes. And that is to be recognized for the year ended 31st of December 2020. So we will start off with the calculation of gain or increase in fair value due to price changes. But before that, let's recall what do we mean by fair value due to price changes. You are going to compare the same age, which is, let's say, the 2 years old deer at 2 different dates. Let's say 2 years old, for example, you have to compare maybe with 1st of January with the one on 31st of December. 2 different dates but the same age. Okay, depending on what the company has. Next, if you talk about gain on fair value due to physical changes, you are going to compare the prices at the same date. So here, the date that we are concerned is as at 31st of December. So we are going to compare only prices on 31st of December, right? On 31st of December. And therefore, the changes would be the physical change. Here is the physical characteristic, so it's the age here is considered as physical change. You're going to compare the prices at the same date, which is at the end of the accounting period, here 31st of December 2020, for two different physical characteristics. Let's say from newborn to 6 months, or maybe from 1 year old to 2 years old at the same date, at the same date, at the same date, but different physical characteristic, different ages according to the biological transformation. That's why the date here is very important. The date here is important because you will know what is the growth by the end of the month. Will it be what age? Okay, let's look at the next one. So we're going to calculate the gain on fair value due to, first we start off with due to price change. So let us look at what we have here. So if we were to do the gain on fair value due to the price change, we are going to look at the same age but different dates. Different dates mean beginning date with the ending date. So if you can see here, we start with the first one. You can see that beginning of the year, on 1st of January, you have 201 year old. So that is what you own, 1 year old. So you have to go and check at the end of the year here, which is here, the one here, what is the price of that 1 year old year at the end of the year. So 1 year old at the end of the year is 2890. Oopsie. 1 year old at the end of the year is 2890 versus 1 year old as at 1000. That was on 1st of January 2020. The 1 year old year was 1900. So the difference would be 2890 minus 1900, and I'm now focusing on the existing, the one that you own. Own refers to existing. This is also the one that you own, which is the newborn here. Right, so I start off with the existing 1 year old, and now we proceed with the newborn, the one that were born on 1st of January. This one, right, the newborn. So on 1st of January, I put the date here to differentiate because there are also fawns born on 1st of July. We start with the newborn on 1st of January. Remember, the date is the different date. Here you look at the date 1st of January for the newborn. So we take a different color to differentiate. Okay, I take purple. Newborn as at 1st of January. Newborn. And newborn as at the end of the year. Remember, this is price changes. It was 1003 minus 600. So you have 2008 times, and because it was multiplied by 4. Now you will proceed with the one on 1st of July 2020. Remember, on 1st of July 2020, you have new purchase of 10 1-year-old year. 10 1-year-old year. So if you look at, this is the date, and you purchase 10 1-year-old, as well as there were another additional 6 fawn newly born. So newborn was on 1st of July as well. So we start off with the purchase of 10 1-year-old deer. So purchase 1-year-old deer. So what you need to do is you need to look at the date. The date is 1st of July 2350. It is 1 year old, so it is the same here. And you will compare with the one at the end of the year. So 2890 and 2350. So you have 2890 minus 2350 times 10, which is the number of deer, and therefore you have 5004. You will do the same for the 6 fawn that were newly born on 1st of July. So the newborn on 1st of July is here, 1st of July, newborn. So I'm using red. And the price at the end of the year for the newborn was 1,003. So remember, it was born, they were born on 1st of July 2020. So I'm taking the third column because 1st of July 2020. So 6 times the difference between 1,003 and 900, these two, and you have 2,004, and the total for the changes in fair value due to price changes was 208. So let's proceed with the next one. The next one, 208, meaning that you have got the gain on fair value changes due to price change, and your next step is to calculate the gain or increase or loss perhaps on change in fair value due to physical change. Here, remember, it is the same date, so you just need to focus on this column for the price. No other column, just 31st of December, because it was different date, but you need to look at the different age group here. Age group or the physical characteristic, and the characteristic here is the age group. Okay, we'll start with the first one. Remember, I'm starting off with the one on 1st of January 2020, the one here. And remember, you have 200 1-year-old year. So what happened is that if 1st of January, we are talking about physical transformation, the age of the deer was 1 year old. By 31st of December, 1st of January was 1 year old. By the end of the year, it will grow to become 2 years old. So meaning to say that 1 year old deer here would now be 2 year old. 1 year old become 2 year old. So you need to look at the price 2890 and 3570 because we are looking at the first one. So different age transformation. We start with the first one, which is 201 year old year, 200 of them, and it was 1 year old here, and after a year it will grow to become 2 years old. So let's look at what you have. So 1 year old at the end of the year, the price now is 2890. 2 year old at the end of the year, 3570. So 3570 minus 2890 times 200, which refers to the one related to that 200 1 year old year at 1st of January that has now grown to become 2 year old year. So we are talking about different age transformation, which is 1 to 2 years old. Next, we proceed with the second one, which is looking on I'm going to do this first, but the one that was purchased on 1st of July. We should also do for the font, but I'm putting it later. So 1st of July, you purchase another 10 1 year old year. It's the same age with the one on 1st of January, and the cost was 23,500. That is the one that you are going to credit to the bank and debit to the biological asset. So we want to know what is the price or the fair value of these 10 units or 10 years on which is 1 year old as at 31st of December 2020. So you can see as at 31st of December 2020, this first of the 1 year old is 2890, and it will grow to become 1.5 year old because it's just 6 months. So you will compare 2890 with 3050 because the growth is just for 6 months period. So it was just 1.5 year old since we are looking at 31st of December 2020. So you get the figure 1006, but by taking the difference in the fair value. Next, I'm doing the one that were newborn. We're talking about the one that you have on 1st of January. The newborn on 1st of January will now grow to become at the end of the year to become 1 year old, because at first it was just being a fawn. Now it is going to be a deer, 1 year old deer. So one after a year. But look at the date. The date should be on 31st of December. So 1003 newborn, and after a year, 1 year old deer, 1 year old deer, 2890. Just look at 2890, which is the price at the end of the year for 1 year old, or because of the physical transformation from newborn to be 1 year old. So you have 4 times the difference. You have 6360. At the same time, on the day it was born, that was on 1st of January 2020, this 4 fawn also have its fair value. So on the day it was born, you can see that it was 1st of January, right? So that is the one that you need to focus as well, this one here, right? And you need to include that as what you call gain on initial recognition. The biological process give rise to the 4 newly born fawn, and they already have a value of 600 as the moment they were born, the 4 of them. So you have 2,400. Next one would be the one that were newly born here. So I'm going to use a different color for that. I use a different color. Let me just, not many choice here. I take blue. Yeah, blue has been used. So I use black. So this is 6, and it was the newborn. And remember, the date was 1st of July. So I want you to look at 1st of July, yeah, the date. Now, by the end of the year, the newborn will be 6 months, because 1st of July up until 31st of December, it was just 6 months. So we will start with the first one, from newborn to 6 months. So you will take the price on 31st of December. This one here, 1003, versus the one on 31st of December for the 6 months. Remember the physical transformation from newborn to be 6 months. That was for the 6th fawn that were newly born. You will repeat the same for the gain on initial recognition relating to that 6th newborn fawn on 1st of July 2020. So 6 newborn fawn, which is 900 on 1st of July, and therefore multiply by 6, you have 5,004, and this is the total subtotal for the physical change, gain on change in fair value. You have 152660. Therefore, the total coming from physical change is 152660, and previously our total coming from the price changes was 208, and the total will be 361260, and this is also actually the revenue from the business of deer farming. If you have other sale of fawn, that were also part of the revenue, sale of fawn. Maybe you have the fawn that were being sold off, that can also give rise to revenue. But here at the moment, the revenue comes from the gain on change in fair value change, which comes from physical and the price changes. The next one, you are asked to prepare the journal entry to record the following. One is the acquisition of deer. Second one is the changes in the fair value. The one in B will just incorporate what we had calculated here, 361260. And the one that was being requested for you to prepare the acquisition of the deer, it will be the one here, 23,500, the purchase of the 10 1-year-old deer. So one is acquisition, another one is the revenue or gain on change in fair value. So let's do that. The first one, so the acquisition was 23,500 from the information given. You have the 1-year-old fawn that you bought, 23,500. The next one is the calculation that we did for our changes in fair value for both price changes and physical changes. And you will see that there was a total gain. You can also have a mixture of gain and loss in between the calculation, but what matters here is what is the final result coming from the fair value changes. Is it a gain or is it a loss? Here it is a gain. So gain comes from physical change and price changes as well. So 361260. So you debit the biological asset, you credit the gain on change in fair value less cost to sell. Next question, you are asked to determine the carrying amount of the biological asset. So if you can see here, the carrying amount means the price as at 31st of December 2020. So if it is as at 31st of December 2020, at the end of the year, all the physical transformation would have happened. So for the existing animal, it will grow according to when it was initially recognized, 1st of January, or is it being recognized on 1st of July? However, we are now focusing on 31st of December. For the existing fawn, if you can still recall, the one that we purchased on 1st of January 2020, it is now 2 years old, because at first you purchased at 1 year old, so 2 years old. The price that you will include here is the price as at 31st of December. So let's just look here. This one, you will just take the price, whatever you have here, the price as at 31st of December. For example, the one that you will take are all from this column, but the age will now be the issue, where it has raised, or the deer has grown up to be what I have highlighted here: 1 year old, 1.5 year old, 1 year old, and 6 months. So we're going to do that. All right, let's just do that. So for the 2 year old, that refers to the existing 200 200 fawn, 200 the units. So you take 200, the price of that fawn 2 year old as at 31st of December. Remember, the price here are all as at 31st of December was 3570. Go and check the table. Go and check, and you make sure that you have the question next to you. So you have 714. For the newborn, remember there were 4 newborn that were on 1st of January. By the end of the year, it is 1 year old. And the price of that 1 year old fawn of 1 year old deer on 31st of December. This is on 31st of December. This is also on 31st of December. The price of that 1 year old was 2890. So you can also have a look of this here. Yeah, 1 year old, 31st of December, you have 2890, 1 year old. So you just have to go and refer to the table. Then you have the third one. The third one, remember, when you purchase the deer, it was 1 year old. So by 31st of December, this date, it is 1.5 year old. Go and look at the price of 1.5 year old deer on 31st of December. You would see the price is 3050 multiplied by 10, because you purchased 10 of them, which age 1 year old, and now he has grown up to become 1.5 year old by the end of 31st of December. So you have 3500. What I'm doing here is the shortcut method on how to calculate the carrying amount. There's also alternative ways to calculate the carrying amount. You can refer my other video, but this one is doing the simplest and shortcut method, which also gives you the same answer and the same marks. The last one is the newly born fawn that was born on 1st of July. Sorry here that it was not born on 1st of June. It was on 1st of July 20. And by the end of the year, it becomes 6 months because 31st of December is the end of the year. The price of the 6 months deer at the end of the year was 1450. Okay, let us just check that. Let us just check that here. Right, you can see here. Yeah, 6 months 1450. Okay, we'll go back to the page that we were doing just now. Right, so now you multiply with 1450, you have 8007. If you total up, this is the figure that you will show or will be shown as the balance or the carrying amount of biological assets at 31st of December, which is actually the balance carried down in your biological asset, or this is the one that will go to the statement of financial position as your biological asset that is under Mfrs 141. With that, I thank you for watching. I'll see you when I will see you, and I leave you with this. Thank you so much.